YouTube, how's it going? Back again tonight, just gonna give you guys a quick deck profile view of my Dragons deck. Um, I have been working on this deck for a couple of months now. Ever since I got the Dragons Collide structure deck. It's not too bad of a deck, but just gonna go over some good combos I like to use with them. But let's go ahead and do that. One thing I've learned and I've talked about my friend with is that we've talked over time and we've agreed that instead of having two Blue Eyes White Dragons in deck, it'd be better to have at least two Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragons. Let me adjust it. We best have two Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragons. And these work out really well with the deck itself because they are basically a Blue Eyes White Dragon with a teleportation ability, which I find really to be broken. Yeah, sort of a broken strategy. Another useful card is Dragonic Tactics, which can be found, I believe, in the Legendary Collection 2, if I'm not mistaken. It basically allows you to tribute 2 dragon monsters and special summon 1 level 8 dragon type from my deck. From a deck. And, of course, I do have the 2 main dragons of the Dragons Collide structure deck still in this deck itself. If I can find Dark Flare. There we go. Dark Flare and Light Pulsar are both very good cards. Won me a couple of matches at my locals and in my local tournaments. And oddly enough, the Lightsworn cards, I've cut a couple of Lightsworn monsters in this deck. I run Raikou the Lightsworn Hunter and 2 Jane the Lightsworn Paladins. These are able to help get more cards in the graveyard, so I can be able to, I find these to be able to have more cards to be able to brought into the graveyard because of their milling ability, because of their effect to mill the top number of cards in your deck. Raikou is probably the most useful of the 3 Lightsworn cards I have in my deck because of his flip ability, and his flip ability is when you flip him, you can target 1 card in the field and destroy the card. And then what's also useful, I could bring, and then if I also happen to have all these effects are really useful to have. All these effects are really in use to be able to be used for either the Chaos Sorcerer or what I was talking about earlier with Dark Flare and Light Pulsar. Because all these monsters require you to be summoned by a light and a dark. By banishing a light and a dark monster. And it's not another one of my favorite strategies, but another one of my favorite strategies to do is if my opponent has a couple of set monsters out on the field, or set cards rather, I would be able to be using this card, which is a really useful card. I found out, Photon Wyvern. Photon Wyvern, I believe, comes in the new premium collection tin. He's a really, really useful card for Dragon decks or Photon decks. His effect, when he is normal summoned or flip summoned, he can destroy all set cards that my opponent controls, which means spells, traps, and monsters. So I found this to be a really useful card. Since he's I'll use him as an example for the next strategy. Since he is a light type monster, I've also been running a White Knight Queen in this deck, which she can, once per turn, target one spell card or target one set card and destroy it. But I also have her in the deck to run one monster, to run a certain monster, and lately I've been using him as a really in this deck, and that would be a Mott. Mott requires requires a light dragon monster and a light fairy type monster, and his effect, if you can name one card out of the 3 cards at the top of your deck, so say you want to name a certain card, if you don't get the certain cards, you have to discard the ones that you draw, and he gains 1,000 per card that you discard. So it's both a good and a bad effect. But then again, when he's summoned, I can also use the discarded cards, and if they're light and dark monsters, to bring out again either Light Pulsar, as soon as I find them again, Chaos Sorcerer, and Dark Flare. And I don't run any synchros in this deck. I just run 2 Exceeds. The 2 Exceeds would be number 10 Illumnite and Thunder End Dragon. I find Thunder End Dragon to be the most useful out of the couple, but or out of the 2. And Illumnite also helps with the strategy of bringing out Chaos Sorcerer, Dark Flare, and Light Pulsar Dragon. Put those aside. And another card that I put in here just because it's has a good overpowered effect. Montage Dragon. Because if you discard 3 monsters, add all their level stars up, and he gains 300 per star total of the 3 monsters that you discarded. Also, another good card to have in this deck would be Prime Material Dragon, because of his ability to negate effects that target dragons by discarding a card, which could also bring out other cards as I was talking as well. Another really, really useful card I recommend is a Red as Darkness. If you already have him and you in the Dragon's Collide Structure deck and you haven't taken him out yet, do not take him out unless, you know, it's your own decision. What else can I say? What else can I talk to you guys about? Okay. And I believe I have another. And 2 Thunder King Ryos. Everyone knows Thunder King Ryos' ability. If your opponent tries a special summon, you can send him to the graveyard and negate the effect. Well, I'll put a deck list up in the description. Have a good night, YouTube. See ya.